This is a series of videos that I decided to do to show you how you can take very basic, very simple exercises that most of you know and make them more and more difficult and challenging. These are exercises that will work on all your stabilizing muscles. There's a lot of core, all your abdominals will be working, plus the particular muscle groups that you're trying to work at the same time. Let's start with the basic dumbbell press that most people do on the bench, where of course you're still supposed to use stabilizing muscles, but a lot of people don't, and your core doesn't work as much. A lot of people don't use core at all. As you know, the ball is very versatile. We can do just about any muscle group on the ball. Basically, the whole idea of using the ball is to engage a lot of stabilizing muscles, especially your core, to hold you in a certain position. Here you're going to be using your legs, your glutes a little bit more too, just to hold you in a position, as well as, of course, your chest muscles, your triceps, your anterior deltoid, and so on. So I want you to sit on the ball, and the best way to choose the ball for your height is when you sit on the ball, you should have about 90-degree angle in your hip and in your knee. So your knee should be your hip, height of your hip, or slightly lower. You sit on the ball, probably the safest way to get into this position is to slide down. Make sure your legs are in front, not too wide. Okay, wider legs, of course, are going to make it more stable. But if you want to challenge your core a little bit more, bring them a little closer together. And you're starting over your chest. Make sure you tighten your glutes, keep your abdominals tight. Your whole torso should be parallel to the floor. And then you go down. And exhale as you go up. And I'm only going to do 8 repetitions because there are a lot of exercises that I would like to cover, and I don't want to make this video extremely long, but we'll talk about the repetitions in just a minute. Okay, and you go down and slowly roll yourself up. This particular kind of training, you want to do somewhere between 12 and 20 repetitions. Any more would be an overkill. You couldn't lift any decent amount of weight. Any less than that, the weight would be probably too heavy for this particular kind of exercise when you're using a lot of stabilizing muscles. When you take an unstable exercise or exercise that requires more stabilization from your muscles, the way to make it more challenging, if you're standing on both legs, you're going to use one leg only. If you're doing it with both arms, you're only going to use one arm. So I'm going to do the same exercise that I just did, dumbbell press on the ball, but with one arm. So just make sure you get into the position slowly. And it's really important to keep your hips up and your glutes contracted all the time. You're going to feel the glute on the side of the arm that you're working much, much stronger. So don't be surprised and slowly push. I just keep the other arm on my leg, on my hip, whatever is comfortable. And remember, all these exercises are done really, really slowly. You're trying to keep that muscle under contraction for a little longer period of time. They're not done explosively. It's a very, very controlled manner. And slowly roll yourself up. Another piece of equipment that a lot of you probably know and some of you might have at home is the BOSU. That stands for both sides up, actually, because you can work on it both ways. You can work on the flat part of the dome or on the rounded part. Makes it into a little balance board, basically. And again, it requires more stabilization from your shoulder muscles and your whole upper body. And I'm going to do a push-up, okay? So regular push-up with your legs just slightly apart. Watch my shoulder blades, they're not sinking down. My lower back is not supposed to sink down. Okay, I'm supposed to be in a pretty straight position from my head to my heels. And just watch the speed of the movement. I'm going to do only 8 again, as I said, but just watch the speed of the movement. I try to hold the top position for just a second, and I try to hold the bottom position as well. So you just grab here the BOSU on the outside, bring your feet back, tighten your core muscles, your abdominals, your glutes, and you slowly go down. Speed is pretty slow, and the purpose is to keep those muscles contracted for a little bit longer and really use the stabilizer muscles, not explosive movements and not momentum. So the same exercise made a little bit harder. It's going to challenge your core a little bit more. Same position with the arm, same push-up, but you're just on one leg. And I'm just gonna switch my legs halfway. I'm keeping my glutes tight at the same time on the leg that's lifted. And switch. So even in a simple exercise like a push-up, you can make it harder by making the upper body less stable or your legs less stable. So for all of you who can do push-ups, this is something different with your legs on the ball. Your hands are on the floor, your legs are on the ball. It'll challenge your core tremendously. If you want to make it a little easier, just bring your legs a little wider apart and have more of your legs on the ball. I'm going to just keep my feet on the ball with my legs a little closer together. That makes it a little bit more challenging. Remember, with any of these exercises, when you do a push-up, do them only if you can do them with good form. If you can go halfway down, whether it's on the balls or on the floor, with good form, that's better than trying to go all the way down with bad form. So just make sure you're ready for it. Make sure you do all these beginning exercises before you progress to the more complicated ones. We're moving on to another push-up on the ball, which requires really high level of muscular stabilization, especially in your scapula and your shoulder muscles. So make sure you have enough strength and enough endurance to handle it. You might want to have someone next to you to hold you by your hips just to make sure, or you might want to put the ball against a wall first in some stable corner. Don't worry, your hands are not going to slide as long as you put them a little higher up and the ball is fairly big. Okay, I'm going to put my one leg back and then slowly the other, and you go down very, very slowly. It's a little different position on your hands, which is absolutely fine, and you notice that my muscles are shaking. That's absolutely fine. It just shows you that a lot of different muscle fibers are working to stabilize me. And again, I'm going really slowly, trying not to sink in through the shoulder blades. Hold that position at the end, squeeze the tricep, squeeze your pecs. There you go. Next one, same push-up on the ball, one leg up. So you have a lot more control now required from your core muscles. Same position with your hands. Get into it with both legs like you did before. When you're ready, lift one leg up and slowly go down. And again, I'm going to switch in the middle of the set. And down. So last of our chest exercises, push up with your legs on the ball, hands on the floor, but your just one leg is on the ball. Okay? Again, make sure you can do the one with two legs on the ball. This is really challenging. You will find probably that you're going all the way right and left and so on. That's normal. So do it slowly. Keep that other leg close, handy if you need to put it up on the ball. Okay. So I'm starting with both legs up. Then I will lift one leg and I'm slowly going down. And switch. Okay, so keep these exercises within 12 to 20 repetition range. You don't want to lift too much weight. These are not exercises for improving your strength tremendously, for increasing hypertrophy and building big muscle. You can get really toned, you can get much leaner, you will improve your muscular endurance, for sure, and start with lighter weights, for sure, lighter weights. Make sure you can stabilize correctly and that nothing is hurting, all your joints are stable, you can hold the positions that I showed you before you move on to full range and increasing the weights.